right, welcome to What Are You Waiting For workshop. My name is Amy Bush, and I'm the general manager of the Cox Fitness Centers. Today we're going to be going over a couple of different things to help you on your weight loss journey, to achieve that healthy weight, what that looks like, and just some tips and tricks to help you on that way. So we're going to start off with just saying key to achieving a healthy weight loss isn't about short-term dietary changes, that word dietary changes, a diet or just a program. It's all about a lifestyle change. So small things that will continue to add up every day, every week, every month to get you to your ultimate change. Again, quick fixes, whatever it is in life that you do quickly, is usually not going to pay off in the end. So finding those ways to achieve that with little changes instead of great leaps and over a short period of time. So really looking at healthy eating whole foods, a low glycemic index type foods, regular physical activity. So what does that mean for our day and age now? Getting moving, getting out of your chair, trying to hit 10,000 steps a day if you can. Finding different ways that will get you to do those steps, whether it's a cardio kickboxing class or a Zumba class, or making your meetings walking meetings instead of sitting at your desk, standing sometimes instead of taking all your calls seated. So finding those ways that we can get that physical activity, parking at the back of a parking lot to go into a store, different tricks that you can do throughout your day. Sometimes now that looks like daily walks for us, something that we didn't really think we needed or didn't really need because we were already on the move so much, coming into the office, going back home, extracurricular activities, and that's very much changed now. So finding those ways that you can get them in, even if it means like a regular walking routine. And then balancing our calories in and out. I'll talk about that in just a second. Eating more fruits and vegetables, making sure we get that fiber in our diet. Definitely go check out myplate.gov. Again, you'll see that in the CDC resources link that I'll share. But if you want to look a little more into your dietary side of things, check out myplate.gov. We also have a registered dietitian if you would like to go into consultations. That's something you can also ask for as well. We do virtual personal training also. But really talking about what those calories are made of. Like I said, balancing our calories in and out. So our function, our metabolism, is our body burning calories. So really looking at that on a weekly basis. You want to have a deficit for the whole week. Say you want to lose 1 pound of fat a week, okay? That would be a deficit of 3,500 calories throughout your week. So say we want to do exercise only. We need to be in a deficit of 500 calories every day, so burning 500 calories, whether it's through our walking or our exercise, things like that, burning calories 7 days a week, there's 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound. Healthy weight loss is 1 pound to 2 pounds per week. Anything over that is going to be a little more drastic and probably not going to be sustainable. So that's why we want to look at that healthy weight loss as a very small kind of change and gradual, continuing throughout weeks to months to years. Not something we just do in a season of time or 6 weeks or 12 weeks and then we fall off. We want this to be sustainable. So those small changes that gets us to our final goal, our final destination, and not just that sprint. Okay, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Other factors that play into our weight loss is getting adequate sleep, making sure that we get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. A lot of people will come to me and they'll say, Amy, I'm doing everything right. And then I say, okay, well, let's look at some other factors. You've got your sleep. Making sure you have that adequate amount of time to give the body rest, to do cellular reproduction, to just find that homeostasis for it to repair the systems, the cells, the tissues. Giving yourself that sleep. Again, 7 to 9. Everyone is different, so trying to keep keep it as consistent as possible as well. Not 5 hours on the weekends, 3 hours on the weekends, and then we're all into 9 hours Monday through Friday. Finding that consistency throughout our week, scheduling a bedtime if you need to. I have something on my phone that shuts down apps after 8 p.m. And it's a struggle to not ignore it, but at least I've gone into action of setting that bedtime timer for myself. Adequate sleep. Second one is reducing stress. So getting into a good meditation, yoga practice, prayer, journaling, whatever it is for you, coloring, adult coloring books are great too, to help you unwind and to load off. Because studies show that if you do have a higher cortisol level, which is that hormone that's related to stress, the body is more resistant to giving up those fat cells and burning them. So again, stress levels. And you may think sometimes that your body isn't stressed or that you're not stressed. Oh, I'm not stressed. But then you start to realize other things, fatigue, constant fatigue, all these other things are not quite lining up. So your body may be interpreting stress a little differently than you think. So getting into that good anti-stress routine, whatever it is, and keeping that routine continually going. Not just working on it here and there, but continual. Again, just like our weight loss, it's a continuing process. We're always changing different things, working on muscle gain or fat loss. This is all involved with it too, sleep and stress. Another one is staying active throughout your day, physical activity, which is not exercise. Exercise is that planned time, that planned segment where we're getting our heart rate up for a duration of time. Physical activity is stay moving throughout your day. So instead of going straight from your computer, logging off, a couple of steps over to the couch, sitting down and watching a movie or your favorite show or whatever it is, keeping yourself busy, working on a project at home, whether that's home improvement or cleaning the house. We all could probably clean our houses a little better or a little deeper clean. That will keep you moving. Playing with your kids, finding ways to get active. Someone told me this week that they like to do a dance game with their kids. That is phenomenal. It's a great way to get you moving, to get you enjoying this activity, which then becomes exercise for that duration of time. And you're implementing that throughout your family, not just showing that you're working on your physical fitness, but also, that you care that your family gets moving too, because we're all not moving right now. So whichever ways that you can trick yourself into that. Again, that daily walking routine, checking out new hikes, another option, going on adventures. And then another factor for women mainly is our hormones. Making sure that your hormones are functioning properly. Also, your thyroid is functioning properly, because that can change throughout the years too. So also getting that yearly physical, scheduling that, making sure that you're staying up to date with all of your numbers. Know your numbers. Do that. Get your incentives. And also keep yourself accountable to your wellness. Checking in with your cholesterol. A lot of cholesterols are going up from staying seated and not getting physical activity. So working on those things. You don't know necessarily where you are unless you do those baseline datas with your data check-ins with your physician. So going into physicians, we're going to talk about BMI. That's something that usually all physicians will do as they get your height and weight when you come in the doors, as well as your blood pressure. BMI is your body mass index. It is a tool used by health professionals and physicians, but it can be inaccurate. So it's not solely what you would base on saying you're obese or overweight. It is a guideline. But say we have a 5'2" bodybuilder who is full of muscle, body fat percentage is like 4%, comes in the door, gets his BMI checked. His BMI is going to show that he is obese. So that's why BMI is not the end-all, cure-all for body composition. It's just a way of measuring your body mass index. Again, a way of saying if you're on track or not. So another one that we use is waist circumference. The measurements for women for overweight is 35 inches or more. And then for men, 40 inches or more. Of course, women, that is for non-pregnant women. But it is a measurement of excess abdominal fat, so visceral fat, all in that area. The reason that is dangerous is because it's around all of your vital organs. So you want to make sure that that is lower because that's less work on the organs to function. Having excess visceral fat, abdominal fat, can lead to diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, and then some cancers. So that's another reason why it's so important to really work on that area. And no, not doing crunches, sit-ups, planks, core will lessen this. This is cardiovascular activity or high-intensity interval training, things like that that really target fat loss. Okay, so not target specific by doing those crunches. That's going to work the core, the muscles under there, but that will not eliminate that area for you. So really working on your diet as well, that really takes into play for that abdominal region. But again, waist circumference is a little more accurate to tell you exactly where you are. There are other things as well that you can do to test that. But to take your own measurements, you want to find your sternum right here in your rib cage. And you find the xiphoid process, which is the very tip of your sternum. And then you find your belly button. And then you find the most inner part between those two areas. Okay, so your xiphoid process, you'll find that sternum, bottom, tip there. Okay, belly button. Then I will measure with inches because our guidelines are via inches, but you can also, if you're just doing your own measurements, you can do them by centimeters because as we change, you can see greater change in a smaller unit, so centimeters is what I like to measure in. So finding that and then finding that innermost part to take your waist measurement. Make sure that your tape measure is not twisted. Make sure that it's also going around and straightened as you take that measurement. So again, women, 35 inches or more. You want to shoot for 35, less than 35. Men, you want to shoot for less than 40. So other things to take into consideration when looking at your measurements and your healthy weight, try to stay away from the scale. I know that's so tempting to just go step on there every day, same time, I do my measurements, I like to do, no. Yeah, we know. People get really stuck on the scale. They want to see those numbers, they want to see them change, but guess what? There are so many things that make our body fluctuate just in weight every single hour throughout our day. Different things that can influence it either up or down. Hydration levels, caffeine, bowel movements, hormones, the time of your cycle, all right? And then also food intake, carbs. Carbs have a little bit more water retention. That kind of goes into hydration. So noting that in your mind, I usually tell people who love to step on the scale daily to maybe pledge. And I'm going to have you pledge to stay off the scale for 1 week. 7 days from today. You probably already measured in this morning with no clothes on or anything and used the bathroom beforehand too. Okay, that's great. But moving forward, I pledge, go on Teams today and say, I pledge to stay off the scale for 1 week. Try it. I dare you. Because what happens is we get into this mental space of, I'm just not losing weight. I'm just this and that. I'm obsessing. And then it becomes this mental discouragement because I've done all these things and yet that scale hasn't budged. I am the exact same to the point, blah, blah, blah. But what we don't know is how our body composition is changing. Especially if you're doing weight training and some other things. your body can be 130, and then 6 weeks later, it's 130. But your body composition is changing. I'm saying, hey, Amy, I am doing everything, and I actually feel good in my clothes. Like, I fit good in the pants that I haven't been able to fit in a while, or my belt notch has changed in my clothes, or in my pants, or I'm going to a different dress size, but it's not changing on the scale. That's because your body is transforming that fat mass into lean mass. Your body is composed of 3 different things. You've got water, extracellular fluid, and then you have lean mass, your muscular, skeletal system, organs, and then you also have your fat mass. So those are the components of body fat percentage. Body fat percentage is your total fat mass into your total mass, which is what you see on the scale, and that gives you your body fat percentage. Ways to do body composition testing is through bioelectrical impedance. If you guys were joining us for Fit Trip last year, we had a bioelectrical impedance scale. That's where you stand on the electrodes, hold on. Some motions have them here. Some of them are just handheld. Their accuracy can be different, but depending on the model that you have. There's also Dexa Scans, which is the golden standard for body fat composition, or body composition, body fat percentage testing. So if you're interested in that, Dexa Scans, and they are out there for the public to do. Not just in the clinical setting anymore, university setting. They're really cool if you want to try them out. And then there's also hydrostatic testing, which is what you do in a water tank. Not as much fun. And then there's also skin fold testing. Again, another clinical way of measuring body fat percentage. So that's the most accurate way to know exactly what is going on here, what you're physically made of in a percentage. That's why we just go with waist circumference. If you're very interested in keeping track with yourself, again, like I said, I encourage you to see how you fit in your clothes. Are you fitting differently? Are you fitting better? Are you going down in your pant size? Are you going to a different belt notch? Are you changing dress sizes? If you like before and after pictures, be my guest, do that. But don't get so caught up in that number on the scale, because again, it may be lying to us. It may be deceiving us by what's happening here, what's changing from fat to lean mass. Again, remember that pledge on Teams. Pledge it with me. I will stay off the scale for 1 week. I'm just asking for 1 week. See what can happen there, psychologically as well. And then lift weights. Make sure that you are getting in a strength training routine. It is important because it increases your metabolism, all right? That burning number, your metabolism. Having more muscle mass equals greater calorie burn. So say I have more toned muscles on my body, larger muscles. Muscles are burning energy, aka calories, throughout the day. So the more muscle you have on your skeletal system, the more you're going to burn throughout the day. So that's why it's important that we are not just doing cardio, but that we're also incorporating strength routine. Having more muscle mass as well, working in resistance training, also betters our bones. So it's strengthening our bones, our skeletal system that our musculature is attached to, giving that challenge so that we are building and keeping strong bones, keeping us from osteoporosis, osteopenia. So make sure that you are getting that so that you're functioning correctly with your body, getting the best fat burn for yourself as well. When it goes to frequency and duration, when you're building this healthy weight loss journey, you want to shoot for 3 to 5 times of 30 minutes or more of exercise. Now we're talking about brisk walking. If you are walking, remember the talk test. If you can hold a conversation without feeling breathless at some point, we probably need to pick up the speed. So remember that for all my power walkers out there. Remember jogging, running, biking, swimming, rowing, skiing. All those things are cardiovascular exercises. Your elliptical, things like that. 3 to 5 times a week at 30-minute bouts or more. And then for your strength training, 2 to 3 times a week, making sure that you're hitting all muscle groups throughout the body. You don't want to just be working on my upper body, skip leg day. Nope, we got to look at the whole thing. Making sure we don't have any muscular imbalances by working the front side and the back side. You've got chest, back, buys, tris, shoulders, and then you got lower body. You've got your glutes, hamstrings, quads, and calves. So making sure you're doing the whole body, all right, cardio and strength. Also, encourage your children and your teenagers to get active too. Recommendations are for 60 minutes a day. So making sure that you're getting them moving as well. Make it a competition with them. Have a fun program that you're doing together. Do those games that get you moving and dancing. And then have an incentive. Let's go and get an ice cream. Or let's go and do this or that, like this activity that we want to do, the trampoline park or whatever it is, or outdoor adventure. Incentivize your kids. Also, practice what you preach. Be a good role model for your kids as well. So, get started. Step 1, make a commitment. Write up a contract with yourself. Be detailed in what things you want to change. Your eating habits, your physical activity, stress management, and sleep. Also, find your why, because when things get tough, this is what you're going to need to come back to, and find your why as to why are you doing this. Do you want to have a better quality of life? Do you want to have a better cholesterol when you go and revisit your doctor? Do you want to get off those type 2 diabetes medications or take less medication? Find your why. Do you want to be healthy to when your daughter grows up, you walk her down the aisle as your best self? Find your why. Step 2, find your baselines. Waist circumference, doing that waist circumference measurement that I told you about. Checking your weight but not obsessing on your weight. I would say measure in centimeters or inches, whichever one. I do centimeters when I'm doing my measurements. I would rather do that to keep myself accountable than to keep my weight. Again, not obsessing over these measurements. Things do not change overnight. You did not get where you were overnight. So you've got to give yourself time to progress, making small goals in order to get to those larger ones and not just skipping to the sprint finish line for drastic change, doing a cleanse or whatever. Those things are not going to last. They are quick fixes, and they will not give you the lifestyle change that you need. Drastically changing that weight is not good for you either. You need that slow change that will end up continuing on, not the drastic peaks and valleys in weight. Okay? Step 3, setting goals, those SMART goals. Remember, small goals, small investments. Think of it as your 401k or a savings account. You make these small investments all the time, and it doesn't really move, but every day you're making a little more investment. You're showing up, you're doing classes, you're going on your daily walks, you're picking healthier choices, consistently adding those investments to yourself. Then over time, those gradual little investments into yourself begins to really get towards that larger goal of your 401k retirement or your college saving fund for your kid or that savings account for that new trip that you want to take or that new vehicle you want to buy. Think of it as that way of investing into yourself, little tiny things. Each single day counts towards those bigger goals. Even though we may not see that goal right away, it is those little investments that make it to those goals that are so important. So keep that in mind. And then keep in mind that everyone is different. What may work for your friend Janet or Tom, it may not work for you the same way, or it may take longer. So don't compare yourself. Don't get stuck in that comparison trap of thinking of where you need to be. You are here in the now. You are not where you were 6 years ago or where you think you should be. Be present and be present with yourself. Give yourself grace for times that you have troubles, like when you ate pizza twice last week like myself, give yourself grace and let go of that week, and we are restarting. Today is Tuesday. It's the beginning of our new week. Yesterday was actually the new week, so I started off with getting my workouts in, check, check. Eating healthy, check, check. It started over. Do not get so connected to being perfect all the time, because we are not perfect. Newsflash, we're human, and we're going to make mistakes. So knowing that you can restart each week, taking that pressure off of being perfect. Every week starts over. All right, step 4, establish a healthy support system. Family, friends, colleagues who are going to be there to encourage you and cheer you on. Whether that is getting involved in your team's communities that we have set up for you, sharing recipes, planning exercise together, scheduling different activities, even in a virtual world, we can still do that. We can still make that happen. So finding your accountability partners, and have multiple ones, not just your coaches, but also your colleagues, your family. Get your friends involved, step challenges, whatever it is. Get yourself a healthy support system. Step 5, continually check in with yourself, not just with others, but with yourself. Revisit your goals, and I don't mean checking in on the scale, I mean revisit your goals, modify when you need to. We're not perfect, like I said, so give yourself grace and restart, evaluate those goals if they need to change because your workload has changed. Or there's been more extracurricular activities. Okay, maybe we need to take away the 5 days a week and we really need to shoot for 3. Set yourself up for success and not failure by being overzealous with your goals. If you yourself have been working out 1 day a week, and then you go into this program and you say, I'm going to do 5 days a week, you're not being true to yourself. You're not meeting yourself where you are right now. Yeah, you may have done 5 days a week a year ago, but this is different. You're meeting yourself. You're being true to yourself right now, and you're only doing once a week. So maybe a realistic goal would have been 2 to 3 times instead. So rewriting those goals. Just because you put it out there and said 5 doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that we're not meeting ourselves where we are. So you rewrite those goals. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people get too intimidated by, I should have been 5, I'm this and that, this negative self-talk, and then they throw those goals out the window, and before you know it, that healthy weight loss has gone to that valley. And then it'll peak again, another time again. No, it's about checking in with yourself 1 week at a time, 1 goal at a time, and being able to be flexible to say, I'm going to modify that goal, and being okay with it. All right? Reward yourself for success. There's nothing wrong with a little reward. Recognize when you are meeting your goals and be proud of your progress. Try to rewrite that negative self-talk and be positive on all those wins that you have. Keep a calendar. Keep something that you are keeping track of what you are doing so that you can look back and say, hey, look, I got 3 times last week of 30 minutes or more of movement. Awesome. We need to rewrite the way that we talk to ourselves, and we need to acknowledge those rewards. I know myself, it is hard for me to reward myself. I've always been hard on myself, whether it was playing volleyball or whatever it was. And it's just a matter of rewriting what I say to myself. No, Amy, you actually did do a great job. Or, look, you really accomplished this instead. You meditated. You really focused on getting your meditations in and using Headspace every day this week. Really looking at those wins and not discounting them, or not counting them at all, but really honing in on that, on the positives. Again, it's so easy, that neurological pathway of being negative and saying we're not enough, but you are. And you have to acknowledge those positives in order to continue to feed yourself into that positive weight journey. Use non-food rewards. Okay, if you have control, I don't necessarily say don't use food rewards because I do well with that, but I can control myself. Like the Girl Scout cookies that are always around at this time. I might buy a pack of Thin Mints just to use as a reward system. But again, I control myself with that. I moderate it, and I don't buy 5 boxes to keep around the house because then I know it's game over. But you can use that as a reward system. They say non-food rewards. But some examples are like a bouquet of fresh flowers, a new gym piece in your home gym equipment, a new water bottle, or some new workout apparel, things that are going to continue to keep you on your fitness journey and reward yourself. So finding whatever that is and whatever works for you. But that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions, again, you can use that resource of the CDC website. Just type in Healthy Weight Week. I hope this workshop was helpful for you. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon.